So there's so much that we can explore around blood in terms of menstruation or birth or placenta, but it's very difficult to touch on these subjects on a deep level without actually going into what blood is and the nature of blood. And this is a very difficult topic to uncover because it's something that can be spoken about for hours and could take lifetimes to unveil and discover. It's a very deep and esoteric topic. But let's just touch on it a little bit. So what is blood? Well, its movement in our body is what animates us. Its movement is why we're alive. And so without it, we are dead in a sense. It binds us to this vehicle. It binds us to this level of existence. It is the reason we have a chance to live out this life, is because of blood binding us to this body. And just on a physiological level, blood carries all the nutrients in our body. It's transporting, transmitting information. It has all of our hormonal information, all of our physiological information, all of our chemical information. And on a deeper level, it holds all of our karmic information, all of our past life information, all of our ancestral information, all of our fears, desires, our ancestors' fears and desires, all little identities that we've carried over time are all carried through the blood. Basically, the blood is everything about you. All information about you is held in the blood, from the spiritual to the most physical. And in a way, as like a physical substance, it is the most spiritually dense or condensified substance in this body. That, along also with the sexual seed or sexual fluids, because those create the potentiality for more life. And in a way, we have blood as an inheritance because our parents got together sexually, created us. So the blood and the seed of life are very connected. They are basically gateways to us. They are conduits between worlds. Quite literally. It is through the seed that more blood in this world is created, more people are created. And so our blood and our sexual fluids hold all information about us, which is why a lot of people in certain spiritual paths don't want to donate blood, because they don't, if that's a gateway to them, then binding that energy, binding their blood with someone else's blood, basically binding all information about them to all information about someone else, potentially a stranger, and create this intensely karmic bond is not something they want to do, at least from their standpoint. And of course, it's a great thing to give blood in certain scenarios. It's not a give blood or don't give blood, but this is the reason behind it. And this is why people are very karmically connected to the people that they have sexually engaged with, because there's a binding that happens. So what's interesting is that this is probably why our blood is held safely within our body. Because A, if we bleed out, then we die, but also we don't want things to be able to access our blood. Our blood is a gateway to us, so it's held safely within our bodies, right? Except for menstruation or birth. This is a natural blood cleanse. It's supposed to come out. And what it is it's a cleanse in the womb. And the womb is cleansing herself. And she's cleansing what she can of what's being held in that information. Maybe, there's a lot of regenerative stem cells that come out in menstruation. There's also endometrium. The basis of life that wasn't used is then discarded through the blood. But also sometimes like an overabundance of certain nutrients or certain chemicals or hormones are carried out in the blood to create a balance in the body. It's a natural cleanse. And in my work, I have seen cases of excessive bleeding, either to the point of like danger, the woman had to be hospitalized or is losing massive amount of nutrients, or just women who bleed a lot, where it's like going on for 7 days, they're really tired, they don't know why, and this is like a regular thing. So I had to go in and question myself, like, why would the womb that's so wise, and why would the body that's so wise be bleeding out so much to the point that it could potentially be putting the body in danger? Like, why would the wisdom of the body do that? And I had to dive deeper into the nature of blood to understand it. And what I understood, and maybe there's other reasons I haven't seen, maybe this is something that you're dealing with, and if it is and you have some insights, please drop a comment below. I would love to hear. I am still learning about this. But what I understand so far is that with a lot of these women, it's just an overcomplication in the system. Energies have been shared or mixed too much, and that could either be from trauma, that could be carried through the ancestry of some sexual or karmic complication of too much mixed energy, too much unprocessed mixed energy, ancestrally trauma, or it could, sometimes it's somebody who's slept with a lot of people. And I don't know what that number, it's not about a number, but slept with a lot of people or slept with a few people with very complicated energies, carrying the energies of lots of other people. And so that binding happens. And then the energetic system is overcomplicated with too many people's different energies, or too much fragmented energy. And so what she does is, when the menstruation is this natural cleanse, and she's pooling all the energy, and she's like, get rid of the blood, because the system's overcomplicated. She's trying to uncomplicate it, but she's overwhelmed. The womb is overwhelmed by the complication of the system. And this can also, there's so many ways this can happen, but it's also like sometimes doing too many psychedelics because you're open to too much astral information, and there's too much actual binding that can happen when you're spiritually unprepared and delving into those realms too frequently or too deeply. There's too much, the system gets overcomplicated, which is why some people who have done a lot of psychedelics also can struggle to conceive sometimes. Basically, there's an overcomplication in the system. The system needs to be simplified in order to have a healthy reproductive cycle, and in order to be able to conceive, or just to be healthy, right? And so when the body is like expelling that amount of blood to the point of even putting the body in danger, that means there's a super overcomplication of energy and mixture of energy. So if this is you, do not fret, do not feel bad about yourself, do not blame yourself. It's a call to simplify, and there's no real recipe I can give. This is like, in my work with people one-on-one, then I would work with them more one-on-one. There's no actual recipe, but it is a call to simplify. And I also would like to mention that sometimes these complications of excessive bleeding can happen in a moment of repose. So I'm brought to the idea of like, with like drug addiction, the person, when they're using, they can kind of be functioning, their body's functioning, but then when they go into rehabilitation, there might be a lot of withdrawal symptoms. And so sometimes this excessive bleeding can happen after they withdraw from maybe toxic situations, multiple partners, or whatever it might be that's overcomplicating the system. If it's happening in the moment, if it's not ancestral, then as they take a moment breather, that's when these things can happen. But again, don't worry. It's a call to simplify. That the womb was overcomplicated, and I promise you, she works for you and not against you. So if you're going through anything womb related, please know that the womb works for you, not against you, but it can sometimes be quite a journey to simplify the system, clear the system, and also find out what she's trying to tell you. So I hope you found this information helpful. As always, there are resources in the description below. And please like, subscribe, share, press whatever buttons are going to help other people find this video. Thank you so much, and until next time.